Hello and welcome to the Futro Hidden Movie Gems podcast. I am your host, Ty Christensen. How old are you? 16? And we've got Grant Nickel on the podcast.
Don't count your chickens.
What do you think that means? You've heard that phrase before? What do you think that means? Don't count your chickens. We've got Jordan Christensen on the pod.
Can we acknowledge that every one of us is going to hell for trying to impersonate a freaking autistic kid?
Hey, he's not though. He's impersonating. Give that role to an actual kid. Why are they making the Safdie brothers? Because he's like, hey, he took a big gamble, right? Because it's like we could offend people. Why do you say he's handicapped, Cameron? He's actually differently abled than you are.
Handy-capable?
He's differently abled now, actually. It's the new PC term. They always come out with a new term every year because they got to look busy because, we don't offend people with these terms anymore. I've heard Down syndrome people call me so. I don't know. Is that offensive? Is that a hate crime? Don't know. Maybe I'm part of them because they've called me that, so I don't know.
I'm one of us.
This place can be a lot of fun if you let it. You're going to have a good time.
And we're going to have, roll credits.
Jordan,
I love when they use movie titles in the movie. It's so good.
It is great, especially when it's like, yes. That's what I came to watch.
Yes.
I came to watch the title of the movie being said and make some sense to the movie,
It's like Back to the Future. We're going back to the future.
Because I remember watching this and I remember thinking, this is not a good time for anyone involved in this movie. Holy crap.
And I loved hearing that in Uncut Gems when he's like, you having a good time? Yes.
He did say, having a good time. That made me think of the movie. I was like, oh, maybe the Safdies will start throwing their titles. So the next movie, they'll be like, oh, man, it's kind of like an uncut gem. Just throw that in casually into the, the dialogue between two characters. We've got Cameron Mickle on the pod.
I think something very important is happening, and it's deeply connected to my purpose.
Love it.
Dude, he is the ultimate manipulator. Holy fudge.
Yeah, he's sleazy.
Can we address the fact that Robert Pattinson kissed...
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that actress is over 16, but it's still very disturbing.
Yeah, it made me feel so uncomfortable.
I was like, oh, I forgot that this happened.
Not only just does that, but also, does it to ensure that she's not watching the TV where his face is being depicted.
I debated to use my quote with the guy after he's like fed the acid and he's like just freaking straight gibberish. You're like, oh, this guy's crazy. She's like, strap him down.
Dude, I wanted him to say, look at me, I'm the captain now.
I know that poor guy. He's just freaking like, because like they were doing a drop of it and for people to take.
Yeah.
And he like drowned him in that acid. I was like, oh my gosh, that dude is high out of his mind.
That poor guy, he probably was...
It's a miracle if he doesn't OD and die.
Yeah.
Is this the movie with the where they go to the break into the circus?
No, Grant.
The
circus. Yes. They do break into a carnival.
Yeah, carnival place.
Yeah. At first, I thought you were referring to A Place Beyond the Pines with Ryan Gosling as the motorcycle rider. It's the carnival at the beginning. I thought that's what you're referring to because there's a lot of similarities.
Don't spoil that.
All right, I'll just say there's a lot of similarities between A Place Beyond the Pines and Good Time.
But yeah, I considered using that as my quote just because I thought it was just very relatable.
Watching this movie.
I know, that poor guy, he's freaking gets beat up, almost beat to death, and then freaking just drugged, and then he gets handcuffed as like,
dude,
because they think the security guard's a homeless guy.
Dude, Nick is missing out not watching this, because it is so good.
It's way less stressful than Uncut.
You might say it's a good time compared to watching Uncut Gems.
Yeah.
So, how's that?
I tried watching it with Nick, and he's like, oh, why are the shots so close to their faces? And I'm like, that's the director's style. Like, I love it.
It is hyper close-ups, yeah. So we're talking about Good Time. This movie was directed by the Safdie brothers. It was written by Ronald Bronstein and Josh Safdie. And it came out in 2017. And the plot is, after a botched bank robbery lands his younger brother in prison, Connie Nickus embarks on a twisted odyssey through New York City underworld to get his brother Nick out of
Are you
jail.
sure he just didn't get in a fight with his therapist at the thing that he's been held against? According to Robert Pattinson, that's what happened. I'm like, oh my gosh, scam artist.
It's just crazy. This movie's so
Can
crazy.
we also address that his like sugar mama or whatever? She is like 45.
Dude, yeah. Freaking Jennifer Jason Leigh, her character,
And
yeah.
he's like
Corey's-
maybe
manipulates
high 20s,
her to use his
maybe high 20s, and she's like 40, maybe 50.
This is a great movie to talk about this. I think I was going to ask you guys, at what point do you sign off from the Robert Pattinson? Like, you're kind of rooting for him at the beginning because somehow you're like, oh, he cares about his brother. He doesn't want his brother to be treated like he's handicapped. And then the very next scene, he's like yelling at his brother to wear a mask that he's not comfortable wearing while they're robbing a bank. And I was like, oh my gosh, like going for Brother of the Year award right there.
Yeah, he
Like,
lost me right there.
persuading his handicapped brother to go rob a bank with him. Like, oh, got it. So that's the kind of influence he is. Like,
Yeah, and
He's
convinced
looking out
his
for-
brother to beat up his mom, or not beat her up, but he like turned him against him.
Grandma.
Sorry.
Grandma.
Yeah.
Grandma Nickus.
Honestly, though, she seems kind of like a feisty bugger.
Yeah, but he
Seems like a tough love home, you know.
yeah,
Yeah.
well, he,
Like, maybe his mental was a result of being dropped on his head, that kind of thing.
Yeah, or being beaten by a woman. Goodness.
I only dropped you once, maybe twice. Ah,
I love that movie.
fall. The cradle will fall. Ah, yeah. Baby blue, please. All right, so we just quoted Goonies. This is good time, kind of like Goonies. All right, so let's get into it. What was it like watching this movie for the first time and rewatching it for the podcast? I'll start because I have a story that none of you guys know. So me and Grant are sitting up in the theater room, nothing to do. It's Christmas time, and we're just hanging out, chilling.
Lonely.
It's just me and Grant in the room, and I'm like, we're going to watch Good Time. And then I look at the IMDb, and I'm like, holy that's a lot of language. We're not going to watch this movie. And so we watched Wholesome Kill Bill, Quentin Tarantino's
Kill Bill,
gory
part one.
masterpiece, part
Black
one.
and white.
I just watched the first part. Arigato. Good.
A movie so wholesome that they needed to turn it black and white.
Yes, they had turned it black and white because of the excessive amount of flowing blood fluids coming out of all the people from the katana slices.
Juices.
So,
Saki.
you, Kibasaki. I used to have a full head of hair. You understand?
I don't shit. I used to have a full head of hair. You understand?
Dude, love it. So, yeah, I showed Grant. We were going to watch Good Time with Grant for the first time that evening, and I IMDb'd it, and I was like, that's a lot of
And then I watched it anyway, eventually.
potty mouth words.
It's a lot of profanity.
Yes. Watch your profanity.
Watch your profanity.
So it's like, yeah, we're not gonna watch this, and we pivoted to Kill Bill, which had half as many languages. Like oh, if anyone has anything else to say, now's the fetching time. Yeah. So yeah, much more wholesome, much less language, a lot more heads rolling. But so anyway, I thought that was interesting because we would have watched that at Christmas time. And then maybe that would have changed the trajectory of when you watched it again, because I knew when Jordan sat you down, he was going to force this movie on you, because Jordan has this sick obsession with Safdie brother movies. And he's like, it's so stressful. I want all my friends and family to be as stressed as I feel every day. So why don't you sit down and watch this movie and have a conniption and get a stroke?
how about you talk about Ty, who you forced to watch this, Ty?
Who did I force? I forced my wife to watch this movie the first time I watched it. And I was like, holy, this is such a good movie. Did I watch it twice? No, I watched it with her the first time. We watched it together. And I was like, look, it's the guy from Twilight. Maybe it's like a romantic comedy. I'm like, nope.
Close.
I got to say, this was the movie that sold me on Robert Pattinson. I was on the Robert Pattinson train after I saw this movie. And I thought he was a joke or a laughingstock. It's not like I didn't respect him. Yeah, no, it's true. I didn't respect him. After he did Twilight, I definitely lost my respect for him. And I'm like, whatever, dude. You can be a teen heartthrob of whatever you want. You want to actually date your co-star, whatever.
And then you just gotta watch him in Big Tiny.
Watch him in The King, yeah.
Oh, I thought he was in the Green Knight. Yeah.
No, but this movie was the one that changed it from the typecast, like the heartthrob, from the romantic comedies. It was like, I can be a serious actor, I can be manic, I can be depraved and
Lighthouse
Could be the
sadistic.
worst human.
And then, yeah, and when Lighthouse was like the crowning event where I'm like, oh, he's not a one-trick. Because I was worried Good Time was just the Safdie brothers' magic. But no, in the end, Robert Pattinson, you got to lend him some credit. Like,
For all you Twilight fangirls, just watch that scene of him beating a seagull to death, and you'll change your mind real quick.
just beating him to death. Yeah, it's crazy. So
Never kill a seagull.
thought that was great. So let's get into your guys. What was it like? So, and then rewatching it, I didn't like it as much as I did the first time I watched it. So unfortunately, the Safdie brothers has this thing where after you watch the movie the first time, it's just a ride. It's a roller coaster ride. The second one, the rewatch, is not as rewatchable as I would like it to be. But that being said, Good Time is more enjoyable than Uncut Gems for me personally. So, how about you, Jordan? What was it like watching it the first time or rewatching it for the podcast?
Yeah, I mean, the first and I mean, I've seen it many times, but the last, they're very different viewing experiences. The first time, it's just a thrill ride, just like a roller coaster of emotions, nonstop.
And did we hear this from YMS, right? Was that where we first heard of the Safdie brothers? I think yourmovieset.org had a thing where he said Good Time was good.
Like his earlier work and his also, Good Time.
I remember hearing Good Time and I was interested. I was intrigued.
Yeah.
But knowing nothing about it, we watched it. But I heard the tomato score and I was like, no, I'll give it a shot. Both critics and audiences like, I know he said
You're watching too much. You're
I'll
watching
give it
too
a-
much Uncut Gems. I give it a.
I know, Grant. I literally started sounding like, "Hey Arnold, you gotta let me in, man. You gotta give me my gem, man." Anyway, I started talking like an angry Jewish New Yorker. It's crazy.
Who would ever want to be
So
a
like-
Jew?
Oh man, don't look at me. Why did you do that? I don't know what I'm doing. So, what was it like, Jordan?
Yeah, and I like it more. But for different reasons now. I just love their work so much, and there's just so many moments like that shot of the Ferris wheel. I'm just like, mwah, beautiful. It's just so good. So many good.
The Ferris wheel.
When they're driving when he's driving, just after he fooled the cops, he's driving, and they do this really amazing aerial shot of the Ferris wheel as he's driving past it. And they just have such an 80s vibe to their movies, like the music, kind of that retro and
Rated R Stranger Things.
Not a single movie in the 80s was nearly as stressful, though, because you watch movies like Flash Gordon. I mean, the only thing you're worried about is that he might not pop his shirt off in this next scene. That's the only thing you're worried about. The only stress that you have watching an 80s film is I don't know if this is going to be corny.
I don't know, Rambo's
with the friends I
stressful.
recommended to watch it with me. But in this movie, it's I'm afraid that I won't sleep tonight. I'm going to lose sleep over this, dude. It's so
Rambo's
stressful.
pretty stressful. First
Grandma
Blood.
was stressful?
First Blood.
Oh, Rambo. I thought you said the grandma was stressful. I thought you were talking about this movie. I was like, yeah, grandma, dude. Grandma Nico, what's she up to, dude? Tough love on TV. She's like, where's my grandson? And she's like, I don't even care that he's gone. And at the end, she's like, I love my grandson.
Can we also acknowledge
jeez.
that Robert Pattinson's mugshot is the scariest thing I've ever seen. He looks like a fetching serial killer. He's like,
yeah, talk about a
blonde
character that
highlights.
evolves. I couldn't even recognize him. That's
Yes.
crazy. I just love this movie.
Brilliant, brilliant. Cameron, how about you? Watching it the first time or rewatching it for the pod?
so the first time I ever watched it, I think it was with Jordan during The Great Awakening, right, Jordan? 2017.
Yeah, we were watching lots of great films.
Just for people listening that don't know, Cameron calls his foray into movies and away from sports and that obsession The Great Awakening. Just thought I'd give some context, because what talking about The Great Awakening?
The Great Awakening while I was playing with men. Don't need context.
Jumping on that trampoline, out of context.
Yeah.
You mean time?
Yeah.
Jumping on the... Well, I said...
Jumping on the...
Yeah, let's just throw all the phrases in. Why don't you? I'm trying to give context. Go for it.
But yeah, so I watched it the first time, and I really enjoyed it, and I was very impressed with. And Jordan told me, he's like, "Oh, this guy from Twilight." I'm like, "I don't want to watch it then." And he's like, "Oh no, it's good." And I was like, oh, "Okay."
Well, and when he says playing with men, he's talking about G.I. Joes. I'm sorry, I'm clarifying because you just continue to say Great Awakening. I just don't want people to
Like great. Would you cut it out? Okay.
Oh my
Cameron
gosh.
started to like movies. He refined his palate and started watching movies.
Yes, I helped you with
actually
that.
good.
Not
It's like, wait. This reminds me of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. There's nothing that's going to make people think we more than if we write a song about it, dude. My God. Dude, Frank Reynolds, dude.
Yeah.
We don't. I'm going to.
fudge.
Anyway,
We're going to, for
the
sure.
first time I watched it, I really enjoyed it, and I was super impressed by it. But I don't remember it very well, and I think
The
that's
movie,
what-
right? Not
And so on the rewatch, that's why honestly I
Losing
think
sleep for this.
for me honestly, I enjoyed the second viewing more than the first. I think like you guys mentioned, the first is just such a thrill ride. But I almost cried at the end of this movie. I thought the message was super beautiful. The last scene when it just cuts and it's just him connecting with those people, and he's just like found people who actually like can relate to him, and like I feel like he found his home. I just thought that was super beautiful with like his brother, and like in that place where like the lady took him in, and she's like, oh, go to the other side of the room if you've ever had a family fight, and you just see like how all of the things, like even though he is like special needs and like a lot of the things, like it still registers for him, and he still had to go through all of this stuff. I just thought it was really like beautiful.
You've always had a special place for kids with special needs. Like we watched Forrest Gump, and you're just like,
Yeah.
you felt for him.
You know,
I've always-
Cameron, you have a real soft spot in your heart because you used to be one.
Yeah. Everyone always jokes that like I'm partially like special needs because how crazy I act sometimes, but honestly, yeah, I've always found them just be super like interesting. Jordan's like everyone's trying to hold in their laughs. The fact, like I've always thought, just like they bring such a unique perspective. I feel like they're just so honest and like just like I don't know. I feel like they're like like adult children, and they just kind of bring out like the best parts in life.
I thought it was great that you mentioned like the lesson at the end. I'm like, you mean like as soon as the credits start rolling, right? Because you know those movies where it's like, oh, Count of Monte Cristo only learned after the 3 hours of revenge that he sought, like the last 2 minutes before the credits rolled, he learned his lesson. It's the beautiful message that's taught. This movie, the credits are already rolling.
Yeah.
By the time you have this moment, you're like, holy cow.
Yeah, it's like the only uplifting moment in the entire movie, and it's after.
Is the credits are rolling.
Yeah.
I don't know what that says about the movie, but I just thought that was interesting how to throw that out there because you're like the ending, the message. I'm like, oh yeah, the credits were rolling at that time when you get that message. So very interesting.
Well, yeah, it's like the Uncut Gems. It's not till he's dead that you can finally breathe. It's just like...
Yeah. Maybe it's because Adam Sandler's driving everybody up a wall, right? Maybe he was the driving factor why I was so stressed. Yes, it was. Every decision he made just made me more and more stressed. All right, Grant, how about you, man? What was it like watching the first time and rewatching it for the podcast?
So
Knowing that you didn't watch it the first time with me because I looked at the IMDb and I thought, I don't want to corrupt this child. This sweet, poor, innocent man child.
They were going to watch a movie, not apparently, because that's what happens at our house.
Yes.
Jordan's like,
I didn't have any awakening.
awakenings. What the fudge?
But
There's been an awakening.
well, I just remember it took me forever to watch this movie because I just remember being so unmotivated to watch it because like.
As Grant is for every single movie ever.
Grant said, a good time doesn't sound like a good time. Grant's review.
See how many times we can use that as a pun.
Did I watch
Yes.
it with you, Cameron, or did I watch it with Jordan, or did you just watch it by myself?
You watched it by yourself. I watched Kim.
Oh, okay. Well, somehow I got motivated.
It was back when
myself to
in
watch
college
it,
when you
so-
like never slept at all.
Oh, maybe.
Because you watched like Mandy and you were watching all these movies, staying up super
it was,
late.
It was during the
And
Great
Game of
Depression
Thrones.
when I would be going to class and at 7 a.m. and Grant's like, I need to go to bed. And I was like, what?
Yeah. Fun
Jeez.
times. Those are the
Oh,
good
Grant, was it a good time?
So I just remember it took me forever to watch it, and then like you guys had built it up so much for me. Like I ended up enjoying the movie, like looking back on it, but in the moment that I was watching it, I was like,
It was an Inglorious. Grant was like, it's trash.
whatever, shush. And like,
That's okay.
so I was just disappointed with the ending because I always want like a satisfying ending. But like he just gets arrested, and then you're like, wait, what?
Yeah, all that was
Like,
for
all that
nothing,
for
you
nothing.
piece of shit. All those people that you ruined, the lives that were impacted forever.
The security
and
guard.
death- Yeah. The countless people just to go away to prison. Nice work, Robert.
Yeah. So
And
I
for
was
that
glad
one guy
that
to
I've
fall
watched
out the
it.
fetching window.
But now-
oh my gosh.
Now that you said it's not a very rewatchable movie, though, I don't know if I'll watch it again. But
I said it was literally better on the rewatch.
oh, interesting.
I'm the one that said it wasn't, so no, he was listening to me.
Yeah, who listens to Ty?
Yeah, no in the making of this film.
We need to edit that out, otherwise our episode's gonna have like a tone of.
This will be the episode that Jared watches before he goes out.
Like some
We make jokes about...
I'm second guessing coming on here.
No, but people understand my sick, depraved sense of humor.
Or Jordan
Otherwise,
can edit
they'd
us out.
check out
and-
a long time
No,
ago.
I'm gonna edit
like
it, so it's
something
gonna be a lot
else.
of bleeps, like bleep, 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 bleep.
Yeah. But even my favorite part where I said, not the awakening, although that was funny, whatever it was. It's like, oh, were you enjoying the film? Or that was funny. I thought that was funny.
Yeah, it'll be like, you enjoying beef or you enjoying beef?
He was like, and I was like, you're talking about... it's good. So now that I've talked about how I'm funny, why don't you guys say two of your favorite things from this movie? Grant, why don't you start us off?
I enjoyed how like
Are we sure he should start?
well yeah I should start because I don't have very much. So
Just trying to help you out.
but I just remember like the visuals being very like dark and moody and just like very grim, and so it adds to the total like weight of the movie. And then I think the second part, because I'm not very good at like guessing things before they happen. I like just kind of being ignorant and just like watching things happen and then being surprised or whatever.
It's like the reverse of me.
Cameron loves calling out things. He's like, oh, I knew that was gonna happen, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, I had no idea. so I really liked the plot twists that they had in the movie. Like they stole the guy from the hospital, and it was the wrong
fetching
guy.
Yo, what the F am I doing up here, man? You calm down. You don't wake up the neighbors.
Oh, get off me, man. Where am I? What's going on? That guy reminds me so much of Nick. Like,
Yes.
he reminds me so much
I
of
wanted Nick to see it to be like, this is you. This
You're
is so
in this
you.
movie. This is your character.
Yes,
This is
when he's
Nick.
telling
is
his
him.
story, oh my gosh.
Yes.
Totally Nick.
I just
Hang
got
out with my boys, you know. Just got out of prison. I'm like, hey, yeah, let's get wasted. So I'm drinking booze, man. And now I'm like, oh, I can't. I'm breaking my parole. I'm going to go to jail for this. The worst character.
When he jumps
That
out
was
the
thing.
cab,
I was like, wow.
that's how you
someone-
got that destroyed
Robert
face.
Pattinson deserves this to happen to him, though. Like, get stuck with a guy like this.
Right.
I'm glad he didn't break his brother out.
So,
His brother deserves
so
that.
I enjoyed those two things.
Brilliant. Cameron, how about you? Two of your favorite things from this movie?
Honestly, I think just first watch, I was just super impressed and it was super fun to see. It's kind of like Punch Drunk Love with Adam Sandler for me. It like showed me the other side of an actor, which I think is super fun when you see that. Just because you're used to seeing a certain side of an actor. Like you're used to seeing, what's his name, Robert Pattinson be kind of just this like heartthrob or like this like rom-com actor, and you're kind of like, oh man, like this is cringy and terrible and painful to watch. And then you just see him as such a great actor. Same thing with Punch Drunk Love. To see Adam Sandler go from such like a goofball to just like such an amazing dramatic actor was so impressive. And so I was just very impressed, and it was super fun seeing the other side of Robert Pattinson and like his skills as an actor. My second favorite thing is kind of what I've already mentioned, is just the overall message. I think it's super cool, especially in a lot of films. I feel like you don't see the after effects of a lot of the things that happen. And so I think that's what's so like beautiful about this movie is, one, like the relationship they have and the kind of showing of like his special needs brother and like the effects it has on him and just kind of his life and his struggles, but also showing the fact that I just thought it was so beautiful it shows him like, and it's like it shows like, have you ever like lied, have you ever been betrayed, and like he's like he knows what that's like, and he's been through all of these things, even though a lot of people were like, oh, they would say things like, what do you think it means to count your chickens before you're hatched? He's like, oh, count your chickens. Like a lot of his things he may like not understand like what a lot of basic people understand, but he understands like the deep and like important things, and like understands them honestly better than like a lot of people do.
When you were hearing that scene, did it all make you think, what would I say? Because I was thinking, I'm like, oh crap, man, I would probably sound like an idiot too.
Oh no,
just,
yeah,
like,
I was like, some of these are
Count Your
hard
Chickens
questions.
made sense, but there was a second one that I was like, what the does that mean?
Yeah,
I know.
I'm with the guy. I don't know what it means. I don't know how to answer
and
that question.
that's how I felt like. Yeah, some of the things like explain the squeaky wheel gets
The
the
squeaky
grease.
wheel gets the grease.
I'm
It's
like,
the I'm like-
person who begs the most or is the loudest
Yeah,
gets the
the
most
one
attention.
that's
I don't
really-
know. Like,
Yeah, or focus on the problem. Like, you don't grease all the other wheels, you grease the one that has the problem. I don't know, but that would be my assumption. They'd be like, oh, my goodness. And
Oh, wow,
the
were you
doctor would
touched
be
as a
writing his
child?
notes furiously. But like, we got to get this one in rehab immediately.
and honestly, I love
Nurse,
how he
come in here. They come in with their straitjacket.
I love how mad he gets when he's like, "Why are you writing that down? Like, what are you writing down?"
I don't like
I don't like people
writing stuff
talking
about me.
Yeah, I don't like people talking when I'm not there. And you're like, oh, honesty.
Yeah, he kind of creeped me out too. Like, I don't know. At first, I got the creepy vibe, but then I was like, oh, he's probably trying to help me. He's like, you should be ashamed of yourself. When Robert Pattinson comes in, he's like, you think you're helping him? He's like, get out of here. We're getting up out of here. Don't talk to this guy.
Honestly, though, it reminds me of Joker. It's like the type of people that are willing to work with them aren't exactly like the high, like because of how much they're getting paid, isn't exactly top tier. Like, I'm just saying.
Oh, brilliant, dude.
But think of all the people he's helping. That's why he does it. It's for the smiles.
Just like the bail bondsman, dude.
Smiles.
Yeah, Eric Pakert's role in this, where he's Eric the bail bondsman, dude. That guy, he never cracked a smile, dude. That guy stressed me out. Oh, you need to give me another 10 grand.
Oh my
I was
gosh, yeah, I was like, no, that
where's
40
he gonna
grand.
get 10 grand at like 8 at night?
That
Like,
40 grand is mine. And you're like, sorry, what? And he's like, no, it's in my
I can't
wallet,
use
it's
the rest of
mine.
this. It's dirty. It's unclean. Can't use this. It's unusable. This guy, like bags of cash that he can't use because of the freaking bomb that goes off and the dive
See,
bomb
that's
that
why,
goes off in there.
dude. No, mistake number one: you never ever let the person you're stealing from get out of your sight. Because the moment you do that, it's game over, man. Because then they can.
Oh,
plant
you've robbed a
stuff.
lot of banks, Cameron, in your day?
I have, but I've watched enough movies about robbing banks. That's what I'm saying. I'll be a good.
I've
criminal.
never seen a movie where a dive bomb goes off. That's my first time. So that's why I was surprised. I was like, that's a really good idea. Banks should do that. And I'm like, oh, they do that. So
Yeah, and also they have like splat paint sometimes too to ruin money and like do stuff like that as well.
I would just argue that once you get the bag that you came in there with, change bags immediately.
Well, but then the bomb would go off like right away. You'd open it up and it's right in the bank.
How do you know? How do you know it would go off right away? Does it go off? Is it pressured? What is it?
Yeah,
I guess
it's
depends on
once
the
you
bomb.
open it.
I thought it was timed. That's
I
what
thought it was
assumed.
timed as well. I'm not sure.
Because it starts beeping, they don't open it, and it goes off in the car, Jordan. So it's definitely timed.
Yeah, he goes, "What's that beeping, man?"
then
I'm
it
pretty
goes
sure it's like.
Oh,
he
you robbed
moves
a lot of
it.
banks in your day?
Do you know how bank bombs work, Jordan? You know how dive bombs work? Why don't you tell us the science about dive bombs? I only found out they existed because of this movie. I'm assuming
That would
this
just be
movie
so funny to see.
is
I open it up
factual.
and it just blows up in his face right in the bank.
And then I just remove my glasses and I just have these white eyes on. Like, woo!
Ty's like, it's okay. I saw it in the movie. It's not a timer.
It's not time. We're gonna take it out right away, throw it in the bank, and it blows up.
It's just.
I feel like if you were robbing a bank, you should use those to darken out the windows, right? Color bomb the whole place, and everyone's red. You can't tell who's who. Get out of there in the mix. That's what
And then
that's
Ty's just shielding himself by old ladies. They're just shooting him. Just walking out of the bank.
I'm just saying that the people that were murdered and dragged across concrete could have benefited from the good time dive bombs. That's all I'm saying. Just saying. Otherwise, he got his nuts cut off because from the psychotic German. That's all I'm saying.
She could have benefited. Take us to my baby.
Say this to my baby.
That would-
I just
she
listened
would
to the
have
episode.
benefited.
We're all going to hell for sure. We're all laughing at what's her face's character dying. Can't say goodbye to her baby. And we're all
Well,
going
just
to
the
hell
way
for
that
sure.
she dies. Take us to my baby. So manic. And you're like, oh my god.
It's just like I don't think you can get darker than that. That's why it's so funny. It's just because of how absolutely horrible it is.
All right, so folks, in good time, two of my favorite things. Jordan, did you go?
No, but
went,
you can
right?
go first.
No, you should go first.
Okay. My favorite is just like I know we kind of mentioned.
No,
it,
I'm gonna go first.
And Uncut Gems is just like a fantastic story of just like this movie. It's just like one thing after another, and I love it because it's kind of this surreal. It's like it's almost based on such a real environment. Like
true
you're like
story.
this feels like it could happen, but
It's like my life.
the surprises and the events that take place are just so unbelievably crazy. It's just so much fun. Every twist, like the fact that he steals the wrong guy, and like you guys said, that's such. It just like blows your mind. You're like, I can't believe this is happening.
That was something that I like. I didn't even guess. I was just like, "Oh man, what's about to happen?" And he's like, "Yo, man,
interesting.
what's happening?"
Well, and when he ran into the room and he's like throwing the guy on the bed and he's telling him to be quiet, like, and he's like, "Get off of me!" Like, I thought that was his brother, and I'm like, "Oh, is he trying to keep him from like freaking out because sometimes he freaks out?" But then I was like, he just sounds really weird, and so it's so jarring because it's like you can't believe what's happening.
Yeah, you're like, oh my
But, yeah,
gosh.
and then it's slowly revealed when she's like, "What's going on?" He's like, "Where am I? What's going on? Who are you?" It's like, oh my god.
I know
like,
we're as confused as the person. Like it's just like
we're like, this should have
3
been right.
seconds
and then you
after
just,
making out with because a picture of his serial killer face popped up on the news. Instead of
he's
change
not
the
a serial
channel,
killer, he's a bank robber. Yeah.
Instead of change the channel, he's like, "Oh, making out with this is an option."
She was having it, dude. I'm just saying. I mean, kissing Robert Pattinson. He's like, "Have you seen this guy in Twilight?" I mean, holy crap, he's got some abs.
and just my second favorite thing is that guy telling his story. Like I can rewatch that scene over and over and over and never get sick of it. Like him getting out of jail and him just how he tells the story. Like Ty said, it's totally
Kind of like
Nick.
the ant.
It reminds me
it's
of
like the
Ant-Man,
Ant-Man.
yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought of that too when he's telling him. He's like, "Oh man," and then I got out of jail and I was freaking down,
And
man.
I was-
freaking taking all these substances. We having a good time, man.
And this guy was talking to me, but I just took
Bro.
some drugs and I was like, I don't understand what's going on.
I was tripping, man.
So funny. It just, I love this movie. Wow.
Still, best scene
Great.
in the movie is when when the security guard wakes up. I love that. It's
Just,
so
dude,
sad
he's gonna wake
because
up. He's not gonna remember a fetching thing.
He gets beaten almost to death, and then while he's passed out, and they drag his body and strip his of his clothes to put on the security outfit.
He'll be okay because the carnival that hired him, they'll have his profile there. They'll find out that he was actually an employee at the time.
But did you see how much acid they poured down his throat?
Yeah, he may not
He
survive.
gagged on it. He was like, I was like, that was so much acid. He gagged on how much acid that was. I was like,
Dude, yeah, he dumped it, and then it's like all over his face and everything. I mean, like, I think if you just
If he
tip
doesn't
your
die
tongue
of
or
shock,
your finger,
because he's probably like seeing like everybody like melting and like.
Yeah, scarecrow gas. Yeah, that ain't got nothing on how much acid he took.
Oh my gosh, Christian Bale's there. Boy, where are the trucks going?
Yeah, and the things are coming out. There's bugs coming out of his mouth.
Well, it was kind of full circle. We had to go that way because Christian Bale's Batman, who the new Robert Pattinson Batman is going to be the new Batman or whatever. Excited
it's gonna
for
be a
that.
horror movie. Oh,
It's going to be a horror movie, which it better be. I just hope it wasn't some wimpy critic that was like,
He's like,
oh my
"Ooh,
gosh,
that's
look at those
scary." I
scared
got really
movies scared me
scared.
so much. It was such a scary movie. The Joker was so scary, or the whatever. And I'm like,
Riddler.
dude, like the Riddler was so scary. I'm gonna be like, oh my gosh, if this was like some guy that's like a weakling when it comes, you know, a lightweight when it comes to horror movies. I hope he's not one of them.
dude, I just want to go back and rewatch that scene.
I have like a billion movies I've seen though that I haven't talked about because I haven't been on the podcast.
Oh my
forever.
gosh, we don't have time for 7,000 movies. Well, as long as you just blow through them.
Yeah, we're 30 minutes in. You can share it. Because I always love Cameron. He's like, I don't have very many to say. And he talks for like 20 minutes.
No, that's because you guys comment on every movie that I've watched.
That's true. That's true.
I've mentioned a movie, and you guys say, "Oh, God, what did you think about this? Oh, this scene? Oh my God, oh, that." And I'm like,
I have at least 21 movies I've seen since I was last on the podcast.
Jeez.
"Holy shiz!"
Grant, what have you seen lately and what are you looking forward to seeing?
I had my wedding, so I watched Victor Crowley.
No comments. Only movie.
For my bachelor party. It was freaking hilarious. Then watched Hunt for the Wilder People. I showed Elise. She liked it a lot. Then we watched The Terminal with Tom Hanks. It's a pretty good movie. And then The Impossible with young Tom Holland and Ian McGregor.
You mean Obi-Wan Kenobi?
Crazy movie.
Hello there.
That is Tom Holland. I forgot about that.
Mhm. He's so young.
So
It's
like a little
crazy.
baby.
Yeah.
Grant didn't know that, and I told him, I was like, "Oh, Tom Holland's in it." He's like, "No, fetch him away."
Yeah. We watched the new Jungle Cruise. It was entertaining. It was alright. And then Top Gun.
Boom!
You didn't like it?
Boom! The Nazi joke. We were making Nazi jokes all night, so that was funny. But
Watched Top Gun. That's a good one. Watched Mr. Mom, Day After Tomorrow. We started watching some Avatar: The Last Airbender. It's such a good show.
Great TV show.
dude, the amount of times I got to the scene in Day After Tomorrow where the pilot freezes while watching it with mom, and then her be like, this is too harsh for you. When I was like 8 years old, I watched that first like 15 minutes probably 7 times, and every single time.
So
right,
horrific to watch
right
a
when he
person
would freeze,
freeze.
mom would be like, "Yeah, what is this
instantly.
rated PG-13? Yeah, sorry, Cam." And I'm like,
Yeah, happened plenty of times.
Rewatched Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, and then Life of Pi.
dude, the
I
visuals
showed
in Life of
Elise
Pi are
Dark
ridiculous.
Knight, and she actually liked it. And
No
then watched
way.
Source Code with.
Did you watch
Did she
it
look
with
over
Good
at you
Angel?
and she's like, I understand why you like the movie.
No. She was like, that was way
She
better
was like,
than
I
I
enjoyed
expected.
Better than she could. How did she not see The Dark Knight? How is that possible?
I don't know.
Everyone's seen it, right? I mean, I don't know.
Tatiana hasn't seen it.
The fudge?
Your wife has not seen Dark Knight?
Divorce her.
And you still agreed to get married? Did you know this before? Or did she
Yeah,
entrap you into this information?
It's not my
She told you
favorite.
after she got married.
No, it's not my favorite Christopher Nolan movie. I'm like, it's okay. We're just gonna watch Insomnia first.
Oh my gosh.
So
We watch
dumb.
as long as you watch Insomnia and Dunkirk,
As long as you watch
it's okay.
Insomnia.
They're wrapped up in garbage bags.
Oh my gosh, dude. Boo!
Keep
Dunkirk,
quoting the same line.
way better. Sorry, it's okay.
Dunkirk is a great
Guess
movie.
what
but
won't even make my top 100? Dark Knight.
Oh, sinner.
That is one of the most unsettling things, even more unsettling than Heath Ledger's performance as the Joker. What you just said there, that was very dark and very disturbing.
Yes, that was.
I'm gonna do my best impression of. I'm gonna do my best impression
No,
of.
no one cares. Dark Knight,
yeah,
after
yeah.
Dark Knight.
And then we watched Source Code, Jake Gyllenhaal. That one's really good.
That's a great one.
I haven't seen that one in forever.
What a
It's really good.
diverse actor.
Slumdog Millionaire. I was really surprised at how much I liked that movie.
Grant,
that's really, really
did
good.
you know it's rated R? Oh yeah, your wife just watched a rated R movie and I corrupted her mind.
What a terrible R-rated film that is. That kid gets covered in.
That part was
terrible.
so funny. It's
terrible.
but it's so sad. Anyways, and then
Grant's like, I love it.
Holds up the photo.
signed it. And then we've been watching a lot the What If episodes. Those are pretty good. My favorite one's the zombie one.
Gotta watch
And
that.
then
What if?
yeah,
like the new
they're
Marvel's
What
comic.
If. They're like cartoon animated series. It's pretty good. Watched the new Disney Cruella. It was alright. It was interesting.
What's her name's performance is pretty impressive. Emma Stone. I'll say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Ant-Man.
Yeah, especially
Might
her
watch that.
narration when she says literally everything you can see on the screen. And then I met two boys. It's like, oh brother.
And then you watch Casino and you're like, oh, well, this is nothing compared to freaking Joe Pesci in Casino, where he's literally narrating and then his knee gets capped and then the narrator screams out in pain, which is kind of funny. But I almost wonder if that was the joke where he's like, I'm gonna have him narrate and then like the narrator's like, Gah, the bitching knee. It's great. You should watch Casino, guys. Joe Pesci's narrating the whole movie.
I watched the
It's so
first
good.
hour
I
with
love
Jordan.
Casino.
You first watched the first hour. Well, you still have like 3 more hours to go.
That's why Jordan, because I was falling asleep because I was like so dead tired because I got like 3 hours of sleep the night before, and he's like, and I was like trying so hard, and I was like,
Yeah, Jordan's
he's-
like,
he's
let's watch Casino at 2 a.m. It's a great movie.
He's like, oh, let's watch another fast movie. Let's watch Heat.
My gosh. All right.
Grant.
And then
What else have you been watching? You've been watching a lot of stuff.
one is we watched Thor Ragnarok.
You didn't even mention Hot Tub Time Machine. I'm ashamed.
Wow, it's cool.
You like don't want your wife to know you
Well,
watched
I'd
it.
like that
I
stricken from the
didn't like
record.
that
Grant is a
movie.
married man now, and he does not want his wife to know that he watched.
I did not like that movie. But anyways, yeah.
It's
Don't worry,
still-
Grant. My
you
wife took
still
issue with it
watched
too. And
it.
I'm like,
You don't
yep.
it. You got to give
We
it a
watched
rating.
it. Yeah, Grant, you still have to acknowledge your sins. If you don't confess them and forsake them, you're going to hell.
Yes, Bishop Ty, I'm sorry.
Grant, you didn't like the
Thank
you didn't
you.
like the quotes in it.
Oh no, there was a lot of funny parts. I just didn't like the movie overall. But that doesn't matter. That's all the movies I've seen.
Wait, my favorite things about Good Time, real quick, are the colors and the soundtrack. The sounds are pretty hypnotic. It was very
yes.
hypnotizing, and the colors were very alluring. I very much enjoyed the colors
Dude,
of this movie.
the sound was very unsettling and uneasy.
Yes.
It made me feel very uneasy. I was
It
like,
just kept going, and I just remember feeling like I was in a trance, like I was in a midnight. It almost felt like the movie.
lame,
Love you guys.
lame.
Have a good time in the rest of your
Oh,
podcast.
I thought you were saying what I thought you said. What I was saying was lame. Yeah, Grant tipping is lame. Goodbye, lameo.
Yeah.
Thanks, lameo, for coming on the podcast.
loser.
Lameo. What did that guy is? Why do we keep bringing him on? I'm so glad he's gone.
Because
so we
he's
can talk about
he's
him.
our brother that we take care of.
Yes, he is our Safdie brother. I don't know what his name is. He plays the Nick Nickus, which I gotta say is a name. Nick Nickus.
Oh my gosh.
Connie Nickus. I love that his name is Connie too. I
It's
don't know.
Benny
why
I
it
have to
sounds like a
mention
girl name.
that
Oh my
the
gosh.
Safdie Brothers trailers are amazing.
Dude.
Like, I watched it 15,000 times. The trailer
Trailers.
for this movie, Good Time, and the trailer for Uncut Gems, mwah, masterpieces. Just so you know.
I should watch them. They sound fun.
Dude, Nick Nikas is Benny Safdie, the director.
Sorry, Kim, you didn't know that. Yes, we did know that.
I
We
did
mentioned
not
it.
know that. No fetching way.
Yeah.
My mind is blown. Oh, even that much better. That means that last scene is so much even more influential. I'm so fetching young, dude. What the fudge? Oh my gosh. This movie.
So Cameron, you do know the guy that the security guard that took the acid isn't Captain Phillips,
yeah,
right?
yeah, I knew that. I
Okay.
knew it.
Because I quoted it and
I
you
knew-
seemed to be going along with
No,
it.
no,
I was
no,
just worried that.
I knew the was I am the captain now.
Yeah. And then I like Jennifer Jason Leigh. She was in Hateful Eight. She was the prisoner.
She's also in Typical
the TV
A,
show.
or-
Typical
yeah.
A. She's the mother of the family.
That's what
Who's
Benny Safdie looks
a character that's growing on me, even though I kind of dislike her a lot. But just because I'm on the side of staying together and not unfaithful people, because unfaithful people, I don't know. There's something.
No, she
about
usually
them on
plays
TV.
like kind of sleazy people.
She really does.
Yeah.
What else does she play in? She play in Shameless or something? What's the
No,
other show
I'm
that
just
she's
saying, like in a typical in
else is
this
she?
movie in Hateful Eight, she's always
Eight.
like the villain.
She's in some other weird movies I've never heard of. Shortcuts. which has like a heart that's all papered and cut up. And then there's Single White Female and Dolores Claiborne.
Dude, Buddy Duress
Not really interested.
is just like the perfect, I feel like, New Yorker. The guy who plays Ray.
Buddy Duress, yes. Oh, bro, what's the matter, bro? Bro. Yeah, very annoying. So I like those parts about it. The psychedelic, it's like a trance. I feel like I've taken acid and I'm watching this movie.
Yes.
The colors seem surreal. Everyone's reaction to everything going around them is surreal.
I love these
Robert
director
Pattinson's
styles.
increasingly terrible decisions seem surreal. Like, it's like, he can't get any worse. Oh, yes, he can. He can top himself. In the next 10 minutes, he's going to top himself with something more despicable and unbelievable and unimaginable. And it's great. But it is very much cat and mouse, which is what I really like about my... I love bank robber and heist movies where they're like very quickly on their tail and they have to be quick thinking. And even at the very end, it's like a chase to the very last moment, and it's just very intense how it all plays out. So to eventually his decisions get someone killed. So I was going to ask you guys and pose the question. We said our two favorite things, and I'll get into nitpicks, but I want to ask you guys a question. What is the moment that you stopped rooting for Robert Pattinson? What was the moment that you find him so despicable that he's irredeemable?
Okay, I stopped rooting for him when he, what's it called? Like the moment it showed him in the bank, like with his right after breaking his handicapped brother out of the place because he's like, oh, they don't treat him right. I was like, oh, maybe he like doesn't like how he's treated at the facility. And then you fetching just find out that he just wanted to get him out of there so he could have an accomplice for his freaking bank robbery. So it wasn't just one guy robbing a bank. I was like, are you fetching kidding me, dude? You broke your brother out of a mental hospital where he's probably getting the help he needed for him to fetching rob a bank with you and like be uncomfortable the entire time. And he's just like, you can do it, you can do it, you can do it. And then just like seeing him manipulate him as well. He's like, you know, you were so strong back there, like being wearing that mask and stuff like that. He's like, you did so good. And he's just like giving him all these positive compliments that obviously him as a person he wants, especially like a kid of his like circumstance situation. Like he would love the like, especially from family, because clearly he doesn't have a lot of like appraisal from his family. So to get that, but then only to be like get that in a manipulative way is I think so down low. And the moment I felt like he was a irredeemable character, honestly, for me, was when he's fetching kissing this. I was like, what the fuck? This dude literally... And when he's, like, pouring that... well, he didn't do it, but the guy that he was with, when they poured the acid down that guy, just an innocent security guard's throat. I'm like, homie was just trying to do his job. And
who knows? Maybe that security guard found that all that bundle of money and bought himself that nice apartment with it. That's what I kept thinking, because they never find the bag of money. I was like, just saying, maybe. Probably not, but I'd still like to posit it that the money's missing and the security guard probably found it one night and he's like, oh, jackpot.
I still don't think he
that would have been really funny if he found the Sprite and he's like, all right, super right.
Yeah, I still don't think he deserved to have that shoved down or freaking gargled down his throat, but you know.
Yeah, pretty messed up. I think the moment for me is actually when he manipulates what's her face's name? Jennifer
The
Jason
young black
Leigh,
girl?
Corey Elmans, with her mom and the credit card, the bail money, like all that. And the way he treats the bail bond guy and the bail bond's reception, he's like, well, get him to make an exception. He's like, they go to dinner at 8, and he goes, well, you still have 3 minutes. Give him a call. Like he's that guy that's like, my shiz is more important than your shiz.
Yeah.
Like he is so shameless. And that was a really good scene because he's manipulating this poor girl. She clearly has all these issues, and you know, she's still like, her mom like tells her not to spend money, not to see this guy. He's used her before, you know, he's such a scummy friend. He's a friend that I would never want. So that's the moment I stopped rooting for him.
He kisses her on the forehead sometimes.
Yes.
And plays with her dogs.
Yeah, there was those moments where I'm like, oh, like it's so shallow and it's so like leechy, you know, very leech-like. So, good. So I just wanted to pose that question. So I like hearing where you guys jump
Jordan?
off the train. Yeah, what do you think, Jordan? Jordan's with him to the very end, dude.
Oh, maybe the first time I was just enjoying it for the thrill ride that it was. But then this time, I was thinking about when I would stop rooting for him. And it was just like, he was so sleazy to use his brother. And then I guess he was kind of feeling guilty about it. Was that why he was trying to get him out, right?
That's what I thought. See, because he was like, oh, shoot, like, I got to get my brother out of prison. Also, the fact that
he could have just dipped, which is a little
I think no, it's when he heard his brother was in the hospital too. He was just like, "Oh crap! Like he's gonna die if I don't
that
get
was
him out."
so tragic because I got him in there, right? Because
Yeah, and it was my
because he
fault.
got him thrown in prison because it
I
took him
love
along
his
for the
brother
bank
in
heist,
prison,
and then
but
he gets beaten
when
with an
he
inch of
keeps
his life.
changing the channel. He's like, "F you! No, I want to watch this channel." And you're like, "This is not the place where your honesty is accepted, dude."
Dude, Benny Safdie, what an amazing actor to be able to pull that off.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought it was great. It just reminded me of Forrest Gump. I just thought it was great. Tom Hanks.
Yeah, he didn't go full, but he went some kind of handicap, right? So it's good.
You never
full.
go full.
Who said that?
Simple Jack. It's from that.
Tropic Thunder.
Tropic
Oh, that's what
Thunder,
it is.
Cameron. You seen that one, Cameron?
Yeah, with Black Robert Downey Jr., Black
Yes.
Iron Man.
That's right, Black Iron Man. Do you guys have any nitpicks you wanted to throw out?
That's a great film.
I mean, yeah, like obviously, like the blaring nitpicks are just with the character choices, like just because he's such a deplorable like human being and character. But yeah,
Yeah.
as a film perspective, honestly, I think like I would say I want the message to be shown earlier, but honestly, I kind of like how it's shown after the credits because I feel like it's explaining, maybe I'm just reading way too much into it, but I think it's showing like the after effects is sometimes things you never see, because like if you were to turn off the movie right when it ends, you would never see the after effects it had on his brother, which is like a lot of situations you don't see the after effects. Like Robert Pattinson will probably never understand truly what he did to his brother. And so it's like a situation like that where it's showing like post credits, post all of the action, there's still so many consequences that so many people are going to struggle and deal with like on your behalf.
It's so crazy. I'm looking at the cast now, and Robert Downey Jr. is at the top, and then I just see all the other characters around him, and I'm like, just thinking about the ways he negatively forever changed their life. It's pretty upsetting.
It's like everybody in Always
You
Sunny
mean
in
Robert
Philadelphia.
Pattinson.
Yeah.
You said Robert Downey Jr. I thought you were talking about Tropic Thunder again.
Did I seriously say Downey Jr.?
Yeah.
My bad. I meant Robert
I was about to
Pattinson.
say,
My bad.
wow, you
Yeah.
just immediately just switched back to Tropic Thunder.
No, yeah. No, I meant to say Robert Pattinson, yeah.
Yeah, it is so sad. Like, everyone's life would honestly be better without him.
Yeah. I wish I was never born. You know, he could do the whole...
Yeah,
could do
It's a Wonderful Life.
It's a
Might
Wonderful
actually
Life
work
situation.
for this situation.
Then he wakes up and like,
His
what would it have been like if you were
yeah,
born?
his
He's like,
angel's
oh,
actually...
everyone would have been better off without you. I'm sorry. Maybe you should really kill yourself.
Oh my gosh.
Would you recommend this movie? Yes, I
Yes.
actually recommend this one. I think this is a great, suspenseful, stressful movie. It's a good one. It's a good heist movie, too. I think, even though that almost seems to play a smaller part of the movie, it is the whole background in which leads to the catalyst of one crazy night. And it's one of my favorite movies that takes place relatively in one day to the next morning. I like movies that are like within 24 hours. It kind of reminded me of the movie After Hours for some reason. A little bit like that where one crazy night just kind of keeps going. It reminded me of that, but this one's certainly more stressful, and the other one kind of has a more comedic feel to it.
And I definitely would recommend this one if you like Uncut Gems. If you like Uncut Gems, this is right up your alley. Even if you didn't like Uncut Gems, you thought it was a little too stressful, like me, I really enjoyed this one because I felt like it take a little step back to where it's like, because Uncut Gems, I feel too involved in it to where I feel stressed. Versus Uncut Gems, I can kind of like see the character be stressed and like feel
Oh,
stressed.
you mean
but
Good Times, right?
Good Time, yeah.
Sorry.
Because Uncut Gems,
yeah.
I just feel so in it
Too
that I'm
stressed.
like,
Good
'cause
Time.
it literally is. I'm like, I want to turn this off or stop watching because it hurts. But a Good Time, like I'm still enjoying it because I'm like, I understand that like his life is so crazy or whatever, but it's like so separated because I'm like, oh, I'm not a criminal. I think that's what's hard about Good Time about Uncut Gems, because he's not a criminal. He's just kind of a sketchy person. You feel like more connected to it. Because Good Time, it automatically creates that separation once he commits a crime. You're like, oh, this doesn't relate to me, you know?
Excellent. Good stuff. All good stuff. We end every podcast by sharing movies that we've seen lately and movies that we're looking forward to seeing. Cameron, do you have anything you've seen lately?
Let me check. I don't think... just watched Murder by Death with Jordan on Sunday instead of watching Three Amigos. It was interesting. I fell asleep in it, but definitely like a funny old film. But
How does Jordan get you to watch movies these days? He tells you like it's like Zodiac or
Well,
something?
no, we were gonna watch Spirited Away, and then Cameron's like, "I will not watch Spirited Away."
And then can we address? And then everyone wanted to watch Three Amigos, and Jordan said, "I'm gonna go in my room and edit if we watch Three Amigos."
Everybody, you mean like mom and
Majority of the people, mom.
No,
Tatiana,
majority of the
me,
people were like, I don't know about Spirited Away because I'm not into anime. And then it's like,
Jordan was
Karen,
like
I'm
the
with you. I watched
only
Spirited
one.
Away, and I'm like, I don't understand it. I'm too much
It's
of an
so good.
idiot. So weird. I mean, sure, it's beautiful visually speaking and all that stuff,
So
and
yeah,
artsy
I'm
fartsy.
sure
I'm
that
like,
and
so
Ponyo are
good.
both beautiful visually, but it's like,
So
do
good.
I have desire to watch them? Zero, no.
Yes.
also, I'm sure there's some message in there, but all I remember is that a mud monster takes a bath, and a weird, spry old man comes out from underneath it and is flying around the room, and I'm like, what the actual heck is going on here?
Yeah, if I
It is
want to
so
watch
absurd.
if I want to watch a movie where I don't understand the message, I'd rather just watch Big Trouble in Little China.
You know what other movie I watched that Tatiana liked that I know you guys aren't crazy about? I watched Extract. Yeah, so me and Tatiana were laughing so hard.
Honestly, Ben Affleck.
I think you were laughing hard enough for the two of you, I think, is what happened. But I'd love to have Tatiana confirm
Ben
that.
Affleck is the best part of that movie.
Yeah, Ben is totally like Nick. Oh my gosh. Oh.
Such a freaking bomb,
Sure.
dude.
Still, oh man, that movie.
That movie still makes me uncomfortable.
Very uncomfortable.
The whole pool.
I
boy
think my
shit.
favorite part was Todd Packer as the neighbor. He was great.
He's so funny.
Walks up. Oh, you should have told me that before I bought the tickets. Oh my gosh, that's what I've been telling you this whole time. He's like, I'll just buy the tickets. I think you're gonna want to come. It just, he assumes the sale. It's just so annoying. Walks up with a fanny pack and always looks in their car window to talk to him. It's just so funny. So movies that are you looking forward to seeing anything, Cam?
I mean, so many good things coming out in October.
Yes.
Excited to.
What's coming out in October?
Dune.
Dune's coming out. I'm pretty
Dune's
sure
coming out.
Batman's coming out. James Bond.
No.
Batman doesn't come out until next year in March. Sorry,
Okay.
Yeah,
2022.
Cameron.
But then,
Sorry,
yeah,
dude.
I can't read. And then,
Yeah.
Yeah, can we?
007's coming out. I'm pretty sure October as well.
No.
No.
What?
Check your
not
dates
coming
there,
out.
buddy. Not till November.
Yeah.
Or December.
No, sorry.
Oh, so off. My bad. I've seen them every time I go to the theaters. I see every single one of those freaking trailers. So I'm sorry if I'm.
I have at this point with 007, with Batman. I'm like, yeah, I'm with you, Karen. I'm like, just release the movie or don't. You know what? At this point, I don't give up. Are you gonna release them or not?
If I see one more trailer on YouTube or in the theaters of it without watching it, I might just not watch it.
Yeah, I'm like, I've seen the. You know what? I've pieced together in my mind what the movie's going to be at this point. It's probably not a good thing to watch it because it probably won't live up to my expectations.
Yeah.
And because you made me wait for it for so long.
Yeah.
You make me wait for it for so long, and then, you're like, wow, that was it? That was a monumental letdown.
Yeah, and then I'm probably gonna watch what's the movie that we got recommended by our viewer? Because
The Beast.
I need to be the
The
deciding
Beast.
vote for you guys. Because
It's directed by Count of Monte Cristo. Have you seen it, Jordan? Do you see the full thing? Art of Self-Defense, Faults, and Beast. Have you seen both of the Art of
I
Self-Defense
haven't seen
and Faults?
either art or
Oh,
Faults.
but you're gonna like them, so I'm not worried about that. You're gonna
No, but
like 'em.
Ty, I'm not talking about whether or not he's gonna like him. I'm just talking about. I think you should skip The Beast. I think it's a dumb movie, but
You didn't finish it though, as far as I could.
I know. But I'm just saying, of all the films, like
You've seen 10 minutes of it. You should finish it. Highly recommend it. Highly recommend The Beast. It's a good movie. I really liked it. You've seen the first 10 minutes. Jordan can't wait until
Both of you
Jordan
need to
has
chill.
this thing.
Both of you need
Jordan
to
has this
chill.
thing.
Both y'all are.
Let me finish my thought.
shut
Jordan has this thing where he makes his mind up in a movie in the first 10 minutes. How do you think do I feel watching Spirited Away where the fetching parents turn into pigs after the first 3 minutes and you're like, what the heck am I watching? And I don't want to watch anymore. And Jordan's like, oh, you don't understand anime. It's beautiful, Ty. It's art.
The moral of the story is that no one in our family believes
Then some
that other
anime
people
chicks
can
come
have
out
their
and
own
he's like,
opinion.
it's not bad, Mom. It's not pornography. It's a beautiful thing. It's called Moby Dick by Herman Melville. Moby what?
Yeah, well, also, Jordan was going to try to get Mom to watch Brawl in Cell Block 99 on Sunday.
Oh my gosh.
And I
a
had
good
to be
movie.
the voice of reason.
I don't care what day of the week. Mom watching Brawl. What is wrong
Exactly.
with you?
Thank
dude,
you, Ty.
close your eyes.
What's wrong with
At
you?
a few scenes, it's like PG-13.
Oh, my God.
What is wrong with you, dude?
Exactly.
Do you think
You're
she wants
so
to watch
desensitized.
Vince Vaughn go through prison? What's wrong with you, dude?
Do you know who Mom is?
She likes big business. She likes
9 to 5.
P.S. I love you. 9 to 5. She likes
Hallmark movies.
She also likes Frequency about a psycho killer. Just saying. She also likes the movie with Harrison Ford.
It's about a fireman in a relationship to his son, and yes, there is a minor side plot.
Sorry, what was the one with Harrison Ford for when he's running and he's getting chased by
Listen
the police?
to Jordan justify
He
it.
gets
Keep
that guy
going.
cracks his wife's skull with a freaking. I'm just saying.
What movie?
Fugitive. Opening scene. Girl gets her freaking skull cracked in.
Yeah, by far one of the more disturbing movies.
She
that Mom
likes it?
likes. I don't think she likes that movie. I think she tolerates it. I think she's like, oh, suspenseful.
She likes it.
Ask her if it's her favorite movie. She might just be like, Harrison Ford's so handsome, I forget about the horrific murder at the beginning. Cassie tried to watch it too young. Cassie, I know you're listening. It's terrifying.
Yeah, but
isn't it?
Ty, Mom's
Fugitive is
also
bloody scary.
Mom also thinks Vince Vaughn is handsome because he's bald. Oh, just she likes those bald men.
If you
now.
want to watch it with her, I will not be present, but you're welcome to watch it with her.
Mom,
and then
you're
her
listening on the
be
pod.
scarred.
Don't let Jordan corrupt you. You're the most incorruptible person, Mom. If Jordan tries to push his terrible, sadistic,
I
evil
did. I
movies
got her
on
to
you.
watch Fargo, Ty, and then she rewatched it. She tried rewatching it with Dad, and then she was like, "Oh my gosh, I don't remember any of these scenes." It's because I skipped over them because I'm a master. That's right, cheap.
Yeah, ask Clinton about Hot Tub Time Machine. That was pretty masterful, I'd say. You do a really good job, Jordan.
Okay, I missed some on Hot Tub Time Machine.
And Jordan's like, guys, we gotta watch this movie. I love you, Jordan. We're gonna watch whatever movies you want because you're just so darn cute. We're just gonna put up with you. So
No, not as long as I'm around.
movies that I've seen, I watched The Beast. It's really good. It was a recommendation from some listener on our podcast. I really vote that we
We'll
at
do
least
it
talk about
next
it. I
week.
loved it. I think it's a great film. I watched Dumb and Dumber with my brothers-in-law. They'd never seen it. I don't know what they're doing with their time, kids these days.
Did they
And it
laugh?
was at
Tatiana
the first
hadn't
10
even
minutes
seen
they
it.
were the first 7 minutes they weren't sold, but as soon as the gag with the dead bird, they were gut-splittingly laughing. Like they're like, "Hey, we have to talk about all expenses. We're on a tight budget." And he goes, I managed to raise a couple extra bucks. I sold some stuff to Billy in 13Z. He's like, the blind kid? He's like, yeah, yeah. And he's like, well, what did you sell him? You know, stuff.
birds.
You know, a couple marbles, baseball
cards.
cards. Pete, you sold my dead bird to a blind kid? Petey didn't even have a head. Harry, I took care of it.
Pretty bird.
And the kid's stroking a dead bird with his head tucked in. Dude, and the conversation they have, dude, where he's like, our pet's heads are falling off. And he's like, yeah, he was getting pretty old. He's like, what happened? His head fell off. Dude, maybe we should trash the place and leave him a message.
I don't think they're gonna get that message.
I don't think he's going to get that message. The guy's got worms in his living room. Dude, we need to review Dumb and Dumber.
Yes.
Because
Dude,
every single scene is
Dad,
so funny.
or I think it was
Laugh out loud.
Mom or Dad was crying at the scene on the toilet scene. That was one
Our
of the few
grandmother
grandma.
was crying. Grandmother, rest in peace. I hope you're listening to this. Grandma Christensen, we love you. She was laughing so hard at the toilet scene. That was her favorite part. At least the one she
Ty,
liked.
she might have been listening to this episode until you had to be talking about all this.
It's all right, it'll be edited out.
Grandma, I'm making something of myself, all right? I'm going to be a star. At least I don't like anime, so I know Jordan disappointed you there. So, sorry, Grandma. At least one of us will carry on the Christensen name proudly.
One of the girls Ty matched with on the dating app, like she's like, if you're into anime, like, do not swipe right. And I literally posted one of our clips of Death Note, and she added me on Instagram, and it was a clip, and then I never heard from her again because I posted a clip from Death Note.
Oh, that's great.
Death Note doesn't even count as anime though. Stuff is master.
I watched We'll Never Have Paris. It's got the lady from The Informant and Goodfellas. It's that actress, you know?
Oh, you see the Goodfellas coming out with a new?
She's-
or the directors of Goodfellas or something like that.
Yeah, Martin Scorsese.
That looks.
He's
pretty
coming out with a
good.
new movie?
Has a trailer?
Yeah, I
gotta
saw
watch
it in
it.
theaters. It's about like a son of, I think it's The Sopranos or something. I don't know. I think it's called The Sopranos.
So it's like a movie?
It's like a mob
Of the
movie.
Well,
yeah.
it's a TV show. You're
No,
describing
movie,
TV
movie.
shows. Well, is it the movie of the TV show?
I don't think it's Sopranos. I think it's just
like Sopranos.
like Sopranos.
Got it. You mean Martin Scorsese's doing a gangster movie? I want to talk about typecast, everybody. Bless his heart. I'm just saying. And you know what? You keep making good mob and gangster movies, I'll keep seeing them. I just think it's a little funny. I'm like, you can make anything you want at this point, and I think he enjoys making gangster films. So.
Well, it's funny because in
Just
an
please
interview,
don't use any de-aging on Martin.
Yes,
on freaking
unless you
the
do-
old men. Don't do any on Robert De Niro.
yeah.
He can't move like he can.
unless you're gonna use
hobbling around.
the what's that thing called
De-aging,
no, don't do de-aging, but do the other one,
deep fakes.
deep fakes. That's all right.
Well, yeah, they're really impressive. These deepfakes are more impressive.
Or just
than
use a
any
younger
CGI.
actor that looks like
Just
him.
use a younger. Yeah. What's wrong with letting? Because now we have an Indiana Jones movie where Harrison Ford is pushing 80, I think. And did you know Cry Macho has Clint Eastwood? He is 93 years old. Clint Eastwood. I know that sounds like a joke. He's 93 years old and he's starring as like a retired macho man or whatever. Just saying. 93 years old, folks. And he's playing as the action star in your movie. Like, what is going on right now? Like, John Wick should be putting to shame, but I mean, he's pushing 53, is it?
Well, it reminded me of the scene in Nobody when the guy from Back to the Future is shooting people. Like, I'm like, it was pretty cheesy.
Guy from Back to the Future was shooting people?
In Nobody, when he's shooting
I
people with
remember
a
the movie Nobody,
shotgun.
but who in the Back to
At
the Future?
end of the movie, the old man from Back to the Future, Doc.
Oh, yeah, Martin Lloyd, yeah. Christopher Lloyd, what does he do?
Yeah, he's running around
Oh, yeah.
shooting people with a shotgun. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, he can't move that fast. Like, you're telling me all these guys can't hit him? Like, I don't know. It's pretty cheesy.
I still loved it, but yeah, I get what
No,
you're saying,
I
yeah.
did. I loved it. It was great. It was fun. But I'm just kind of rolling my eyes at a certain point.
You rolling your eyes at a booby-trapped warehouse? Like Home Alone style, dude? No, that never gets old, dude.
Not that.
Yes!
It was-
Yes! This has been Future Hidden Movie Gems. Leave us an email, futuremovies@gmail.com. If you like us, follow us and subscribe. Leave us a review, 5 stars. Share us with your friends or family. You can check us out on Spotify. You can check us out on Instagram. You can check us out on Facebook. You can check us out on our Patreon. So, everybody, this has been Future Hidden Movie Gems, signing out. Peace.